What's up, X Factor Nation? We are back on the X Factor Sports Talk channel with a weekly NBA pod. As always, joined by my dog Caleb. How you doing, man?
Doing really good. I'm enjoying this NBA season up to this
Oh,
point.
dude.
It's been a lot of fun to watch. I mean, just every night, different league pass games to watch. Even the bad teams are fun to watch,
Yep.
you know. But yeah, I mean, we're like a month, a little over a month, closer to a month and a half in. We wanted to look at the East and West standings up to this point, kind of give our 2 cents and what we see and where we think things are going to go and where we're disappointed. So, Fred, without further ado, I'll toss this off to you. Let's look at the Eastern Conference teams first.
Okay.
What's one team that has kind of surprised you up to this point?
I'm gonna go with Indiana. I really like where they're sitting at 4. Tyrese Halliburton's been incredible with the ball in his hands. I mean, averaging 11 assists, and that won't surprise me if that gets up to 12 here soon. Um, Benedict Mathurin, of course, sixth man, rookie of the year, every award you want to give that kid, give it to him. I like Miles Turner's game. Just a lot of pieces that I thought would be traded, to be honest, by now, but they've stuck together and they've put together a decent start to the season. So I like that Indiana team, and I think they can continue to win games as long as they don't implode and trade pieces away.
Yeah, this Pacer team's good. Like,
Good.
you know, Tyrese Halliburton is proven to be a quality point guard in this league today. And Fred, I mean, should they? Are we positive they should trade Miles Turner?
Dude, I don't think so, man. I think Miles Turner has proven this year he's just a valuable piece, and I think Indiana sees that, and I think he does a lot more than just score. I think he's a great
Oh yeah,
defender, great rebounder. Um, I don't know. I like his personality. If you just see in interviews, he's just a kind of an upbeat guy. So I don't know. If you're Indiana, I think they have to look at themselves in the mirror and see what they think they can do with Miles Turner. If they can find somebody better, that'd be the draft, free agency, whatever it may be. But if you're Indiana, you're probably not a free agent destination. It just is what it is. So if I'm them, I'm sticking. I'm sticking with Miles Turner. I think he's good. He's still young. What is he? 26 years old. So,
mm.
I mean, this team is young and built to. I mean, maybe a piece away, but a team that can maybe compete for a playoff spot, man. I think that'd be good for the organization.
I'm a little nervous because their next, I want to say it's like their next 10 games, it could be a little bit more. The worst teams they're playing are like the Knicks and the Lakers. Like,
Yeah.
so I mean their schedule gets a little bit tougher here. They're going like a 7 game West Coast trip here soon.
Mhm.
So I do think there's the potential to drop drastically with them. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if they walk out of that like 500. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I really enjoy this Pacers team. I do think they're a lot better than obviously everybody imagined. One team I will say is the Wizards have surprised me up to this point. They're just a team that's like you're good enough to right now they're sitting at eighth. They're 10-10. But I mean, a couple wins, they could be easily where the Pacers are. You know what I mean? Um, Kristaps, I really like what I've seen out of him. He's playing a lot better. No, like doing things that he should be doing, not just standing around the 3 point line. And a guy like Bradley Beal, who could explode any given night, I think is a lot of fun to
Yep.
watch and the potential to have a big night, any given night, and lead this team, to a better record. I do think is there. So I'll go with the Wizards there for mine. Um, Fred, I'm going to read off this 1 through 15 standings right now. The Celtics, Bucks, Cavs, Pacers, Hawks, 76ers, Raptors, Wizards, Nets, Heat, Knicks, Bulls, Hornets, Magic, and Pistons. With that being said, who's one team that you've been disappointed in right now?
I'm gonna go with Miami. I know Miami. We've hit on them a lot in a lot of our videos, just talking about how they made no movement. But you look at that team, and they're still constructed to win. I mean, they were a 1 seed last year with that team. I know injuries has kind of derailed them a little bit, but I think they could still make a case for a top 6 seed. They just disappoint me day in and day out. I watch a lot of Heat basketball. I like watching Tyler play, but it's just Duncan Robinson's been a really bad investment for them. I mean, he barely plays now, and they're paying him $17 million a year. Just not what I thought I would see from the Heat. I didn't give them too much expectation, but look at them how they play now. It's definitely a disappointment to me because I mean I could have said any of the below half teams, but I mean I think we expected these teams to start out slow. That being the Hornets, Magic, Pistons, but for me it's the Heat sitting at 10.
Kyle Lowry has played the second most minutes this season,
Hasn't played bad.
but that's a concern.
Oh,
Like
very concerning. But I mean,
there's
who else are you
something
going to look to?
there's something that needs to be done bad in Miami. I mean, you've got Bam finally starting to figure things out again. But I just, Bam's so inconsistent for me at points. I loved Bam coming out of college. I loved him with the
Mm-hmm.
Heat. But even still, I'm kind of like, okay, come on, man. Like let's really get this going.
What?
And
Sometimes at times he's their fourth option
yeah,
behind Jimmy,
it's
Kyle, and Tyler.
yeah. So there's a lot of things I think that need to be done with this
Yeah,
Heat team. One team I'll say that's disappointed me is I was low on them, but I didn't expect to be this low, and it's the Bulls.
yeah.
Um, they're 8-11. They're 3-7 over their last 10 games.
Oof.
One of the worst right now over the last 10 games. Like the Pacers were 7-3 over their last 10, one of the better. The Bulls 3-7, one of the worst. It seems like it's DeMar, go do your thing. Okay, now Zach, go do your thing. Vucevic, you'll get a couple, looks here and there, and everybody else will figure it out as we go along. And it's like the Heat almost. It's like the same thing, just a new year.
Yep.
You brought in Goran Dragic, who at times has been okay, and then Andre Drummond, who I don't know. I don't know if there's a spot in the league for Andre Drummond, as bad as it is, because he's still skilled,
Yep.
But this Bulls team, they have a lot to figure out. I think Billy Donovan could be on the hot seat. As a matter of fact, a hot take I have is Billy Donovan will be fired before the end of the season. We'll be back coaching college basketball before the end of the NBA season.
Kentucky fans want to hear that.
Yeah, but this Bulls team, I got Patrick Williams has disappointed me. And and it comes down to, you could say like Lonzo's out and been injured, but it's like I don't know if Lonzo changes this much for this team. I do think he helps drastically, but not to where we're looking at them, I think, in like the top 5.
I mean, they don't have a playmaker at all.
Yeah.
I mean, they need to go get somebody. I mean, a true point guard would be nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, other than that, it's like the Cavs, even after they lost like 5 or 6 in a row, they're still number 3 in the East. They'll be just fine. The 76ers are hanging around. They're 6 right now. They're 11-9. I'm a little concerned that they might drop off until those 3 get back. But
yeah.
I mean, right now, Shake Milton's that guy.
Balling.
Yeah. The Nets, I expect the Nets to make a leap up. They're 10-11. They're sitting at 9th.
Yeah.
I expect them to take a leap up, especially with, having Kyrie back. Ben Simmons is slowly figuring things out. KD's KD. And then
that coaching change was huge. Huge.
Yeah.
But yeah, Seth Curry too. Didn't mean to cut you off, but
no, you're good. But up to that point, other than that, the bottom 10 teams, I think we all kind of expected to be there. I think maybe the Heat might be the only ones that you would have surprised that they're this low so far. But yeah, that's the East. Anything that stands out to you that before we move on?
The Celtics domination is pretty
best
cool
team in
see.
basketball.
Yeah. Yeah. Shouldn't have taken the lower on their win total. It is what it is though. Good thing I didn't put real money on it. Let me tell you. Yeah. Bucks slipping after a hot start, but I mean they're beat up. And I think we all kind of saw the Cavs go up. So
yeah, Celtics are 16-4. They're like 12 or 13 out of their last 12 out of 13 their last 13 games. 9-10 or 9-1 out of their last 10. Celtics are just dominant. There's no other way around it. Even without Jaylen Brown, or even without Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown led them the other night. So it just phenomenal stuff. Just phenomenal stuff. But yeah, that's the Eastern Conference. Let's take a look over here at the Western Conference, 1 through 15. The Suns, Nuggets, Grizzlies, Pelicans, Clippers, Kings, Trailblazers, Jazz, Warriors, Timberwolves, Mavericks, Thunder, Lakers, Spurs, Rockets. Fred, over to you. One team that stands out up to this point.
Give me Phoenix. Did not expect them to be sitting at 1 right now. It's another team that we kind of just wrote off and said, hey, they'll make playoffs, but be a 6-8 maybe.
Yeah.
But man, they have been playing really good basketball. Devin Booker's playing at a superstar level, as I always expect from him. DeAndre Ayton, man, these last few games has been balling. He's been
And he just got
aggressive.
named player of the week a
Yeah,
couple of days ago. Yeah.
he looks dialed in, which, he's been distant with the Suns organization. There's been some tension there. Michael Bridges has been great. Campaign has been great. Chris Paul's been injured, but even when he's playing, he's been great. So, and then you just have bench pieces that make, decent, stat lines every night. And I think this team is built for, I mean, the playoffs. And they may be missing one more veteran bench piece, but besides that, man, them sitting at first place is one of the most surprising things to me. I know it probably shouldn't be after how they performed the last couple years, but just how we looked at them going into the year, I did not expect them to be this high in the standings this early.
I was still very high on them just because when it comes down to it, skill reigns supreme in this league.
Yeah, I guess it's
And
more surprising to me than
yeah,
to, but because I think I had them maybe 6, 7 standings, but they're playing really good basketball. Devin Booker's really good. I don't know what else.
DeAndre Ayton taking a big jump is helped out a lot.
Dude, he's such a freak. Like he
Michael Bridges
should
is playing really well for them all around, really solid. And campaign, when
all.
especially with Chris Paul going out, campaigns really steps up. One team I'll say I could name three teams right here: 6, 7, and 8. Kings, Trailblazers, Jazz.
Yeah,
I didn't think any of those teams would be. I do think the Jazz are going to start to cool off finally and maybe slide down. But even like the Trailblazers, I was so low on. I was so low on this Trailblazers team. Jeremy Grant's been really solid for them. Anthony Simons has taken a big step up. Nurkic is Nurkic, and Dame is Dame. But these other guys were my big issue, were my big concern. And Jeremy Grant really, really consistent over the last 15-ish games. Um, um, there was another Shading Sharp's starting to look solid. He's finding his way into it, trying to figure things out. They still don't have Gary Payton, which I really think once he comes back, it'll help them out a lot. But yeah, that they're the number one team that stuck out to me, and then shortly behind it are the Kings. Kings look really good.
yeah,
De'Aaron Fox is hooping. Sabonis
hooping.
is really solid. Harrison Barnes started off this season really slow, but he's really started to figure things out. And I don't think it's a coincidence that once he figured things out, they went on a big win streak. Um, they're sitting at 10-8. They're in sixth place. I mean, they're 3 games out of first place. So literally number 10 are the Timberwolves, and they're 3 games out of first place. So a lot of these teams are going to be really close, but the Trailblazers and the Kings, I wouldn't be surprised if we see them march up the standings even more, even slowly but surely.
Yeah, Chauncey Bills, I think, has done a really good job with the Trailblazers. I
Yeah.
think I didn't know how he would be as a coach, but it seems like he's finding his footing. So that's good for him and that whole organization because I always feel like they are an afterthought.
Yeah. One team I'm kind of like the Pelicans have surprised me because I was really high on them. Like they're fourth right now, but I don't feel like that's saying much with how close everybody is. But like they've disappointed me almost, Like
Yeah.
there's moments where I'm surprised with how good they look offensively, but defensively I thought they were going to be superb and they haven't been at all. They have all the pieces to be. I don't understand what's going on there. But that's just me, I was really high on this Pelicans team this year.
Yeah, so was I. I thought they would definitely be a little bit more locked in than they are, but like you said, defensively, they've really struggled and they shouldn't.
Let's switch over to a team that's disappointed you. I feel like there's an obvious choice, but Fred, I'll throw this to you. Who's the team that's disappointed you up to this point?
I'm gonna go with Golden State. There's a couple that I want to hit on, but Golden State's probably the one for me. I know they're on the upswing right now, but they started off really slow. We covered it in the last video with the young guys how they performed really bad. I think Clay's been really bad to start. He's starting to pick it up. Looks like Draymond's starting to pick it up. Steph's playing at an unreal level, which I didn't think was possible. I didn't think he could get any better than he already is, but here we are. So if they can have some pieces step up, I thought Andrew Wiggins would have a little bit more of a factor for them.
He's their second best player, though. That's the crazy thing is he's been their second best player.
Yeah. So defensively, they're horrible. They have to learn how to guard. I don't know what scheme, personnel, whatever it may be. They have to figure it out. Or I mean, they're going to sit at this bottom half of the standings, playoff picture of standings. But I think they can turn it around. But so far, they definitely disappointed me for a team I thought would be a top 3 seed in the West.
Yeah. I think we're finally starting to see them turn it around, though. So I do think I wouldn't be surprised after this time next week they're in the top 3 in the West, just with how close everything is and how well they're finally starting to play. But yeah, their defense has also been, disappointing up to
Horrendous. They
this
give up a
point.
lot of points.
But they don't play any of their young, like Kuminga's the only guy that's getting any run anymore from him, Moody and Wiseman. He's about the only one. But yeah, there's something that I feel like everybody's kind of disappointed with, even with them finally starting to turn things around. Like there's still more I feel like that I want to see out of them,
Right.
and it just hasn't been there to this point. Steph is playing phenomenal, and I do think that if they can keep this momentum going, Steph will be an MVP favorite again.
Yeah.
But yeah, that the Warriors, they're not a bad take. My obvious choice, and I'm not going to hit on them too hard because they will be coming up again here shortly, are the Mavericks. They're 9-10. They are 3-7 over their last 10 games. And without giving too much away before we hit them later, I'm fed up. I'm sick and tired of it.
He said he's fed up.
I'm
As a
sick
fan,
of it.
he's fed up.
I'm sick of it. One team I will say, oddly, that has kind of disappointed me are the Thunder. Is that crazy to say? They're
Not
8 and
crazy.
12. They're 8 and 12. They're 12th in the league or in the Western Conference right now. With Shea playing as well as he has, I just felt like this. Let's capitalize on it. Let's get moved, especially with how chaotic the standings are. Like let's really get going. They rest guys, they play guys in and out. Like I shouldn't say I'm disappointed, but with as hot as Shea's been up to this point and how well they were playing there for a bit, to see them start to slide again this quickly has been a bummer.
He needs help though, man. I mean, he's averaging 31. The next closest guy's averaging 14.
Yeah. If I don't know if you heard I think I briefly talked about it on the Daily Show. Miles Turner to the Thunder, if they're going to trade, if the Pacers are going to trade Miles Turner, I think that'd be insanely fun. Insanely fun.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
I
they
don't
would
think
help
it would
them a lot.
I don't like I mean I don't think it would take that much. Like you could give up like a guy like Darius Baisley,
They have a ton
Mike
of picks.
Mike Muscala, and then like several second round picks. Maybe throw in a first, maybe just one, but a bunch of second
I'm
dude.
sure they'd want a first, especially the way Miles Turner is playing. I would be shocked if they didn't ask for a first.
Just throw in a first and like 3 or 4 second round picks for Miles Turner, elite
Yeah.
rim protection, still spread the floor, play off Shea really well. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah.
But
It
we're
matches
getting
their length. So, I
yeah,
mean,
we're
they'd
getting
be
carried.
perfect.
We're getting a little carried away. But nonetheless, I'm even still with how young they are. I wanted to see more, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, maybe I got my hopes up just a little too quick, you know. But we'll move on here, Fred. We've hit all the team. We've mentioned all the standings. 3 teams that are finally starting to get rolling after struggling are the Warriors, Nets, and Lakers. So, Fred, I want to ask you, fake or for real, are the Golden State Warriors, with all these teams finally getting rolling, are the Golden State Warriors fake or for real?
I think they're for real. I think they're finally starting to turn it around. It just took them 21 games, apparently. I am scared about the defense and the defensive efficiency, but you still have Steph playing at an MVP level, Clay shooting better, Draymond's playing better. I need him to step up and be that second best player like he is. I need somebody on the bench to step up outside of Jordan Poole. But besides that, I think they're for real. And I wouldn't be surprised, like I said just a little bit ago, um, top 3 seed in the West.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think this we're finally starting to see the for real side of the Warriors. I'm confident that Steph's going to keep this ship rolling. Like he's playing phenomenal. This might be the best basketball we've seen out of Steph ever. Um, and I think Wiggins has been consistent number 2 piece. Now, if you can figure out how to get Clay consistently up there as well without Clay trying to do too much, because I feel like he was trying really hard to get the game to come to him.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think I really like the Dante Vincenzo gives him solid minutes. If Jordan Poole can stay consistent off the bench, one game he's giving you 24, next game he's giving you 6 on like 4
Yeah.
or on like 2 of 18 shooting. Not
Yeah.
necessarily.
And Clay's shooting 40% from the 3. So it's not like he's having a terrible year. It just felt like he was just,
He's
like you
really
said, just
picked it up over these last
forcing
couple
it.
of
Yeah.
games. Yeah.
So,
But yeah, I definitely think this Wizards team's for real. We're really going to see them rolling here soon. I wouldn't be surprised, like I said, within this time next week, they are like in the top 3. They're 7-3 over their last 10 games. They're going to be just fine. Just fine. Fred, let's switch it up to the East. Are the Nets fake or for real?
I think they're for real. And I think because they have Kyrie and Kevin playing at a high level, but it's guys like Nicholas Claxton, Seth Curry getting healthy. He's playing well. He had that big night last night. Royce O'Neal looks decent. Ben Simmons looks like he's finally finding his footing, kind of,
Yeah.
sort of. So we'll see from there. Edmund Summers giving you good minutes. Yuta Watambe or whatever,
Watanabe.
dude just shoots the lights out.
Yeah.
Don't know what that's about. Dude just
Yeah.
casually shoots the lights out. So if you can get other guys, maybe like Patty Mills, Markeith Morris, guys like that to come in, get Joe Harris out. I think he's way too expensive and doesn't give you much. But if he can start picking it up or trade him, whatever you have to do with him. But I just think that team is too talented not to do something, and I think they get on the positive side of 500 here real soon.
I'm gonna swerve. I'm gonna say fake. Only because I think this team is bound to have another serious injury. They're
Yeah,
bound to have somebody come off the bench and be inconsistent. Joe Harris has struggled. Seth Curry maybe potentially really finally get going. And like TJ Warren's coming back soon. They're gonna have to try to figure. I think it's important that they need to figure him out, like figure a way for him to be like a big part of this team. And so,
right.
like, I think they're gonna try to figure out a way to get him going as well. And I think that could slow them down potentially. I feel like you still really don't know what you're going to get out of Ben Simmons.
Yeah,
I'm a little nervous. KD might go down with another injury randomly. Um, hopefully Kyrie can stay playing because he's playing really good for them.
yeah,
You
he's
know,
tough.
yeah. So I mean, I'm gonna say fake just because I do think we're bound to see them struggle at some point due to injury or due to rotation, trying to figure something out. Um, and we're not. They could be a potential trade team. You know,
Yeah, for
I
sure.
think they mentioned trying to get rid of Joe Harris. So try to get rid of Joe Harris and maybe plug in another guy and bring back a valuable piece. You got to figure him out too, you know. And so I do think the potential is fully there to be for real and see them go on a big run. I'm afraid they're finally going to figure out moment, like they're going to get momentum on their side and something bad's going to happen, like it seems to always do with this Nets organization. But that's just me. I'm glad we switched it up there. You agree? I disagree. Last team, Fred, our team, the Los Angeles Lakers. They're finally getting a little rolling, just a little bit. Are the Los Angeles Lakers fake or for real, Fred?
Fake.
Mm.
Still don't like this team. Still don't think they have enough. Don't have enough shooting. Bron and AD's playing great. I think AD's playing at MVP level, in my opinion. Lonnie Walker's look good, averaging 17. Didn't see that coming. But I don't see this team being able to beat some of these top teams in the West. Just don't think they match up at all. Um, they are the team I think should make a move. I think they need to make a move ASAP while LeBron and AD are healthy, which is a premium for them. So we'll see. But just as of right now, man, I just think they're fake. I don't think they have a just an absolute collapse, but I don't think they're going to take a big step forward either. I think they kind of just stay floating around 500 the whole year.
They've won 4 out of their last 5 games.
Mm-hmm.
Let me read you the wins.
Sure.
The Pistons,
Sure.
the Spurs,
Yeah.
the Spurs,
Yeah.
the Spurs.
Yeah.
You beat a bad Spurs team who I think is
Wait, Spurs 3 times?
yeah,
I
3
think they
times out
love
of
it out
5
there, huh?
games.
Love
Yeah.
it.
Let's chill out a little bit. Now I don't, I'm glad to see them finally playing better and getting some wins because I do like the competition in the NBA as much as,
Yes.
regardless of my feelings over LeBron and AD. Nonetheless, like, okay, let's chill out. You guys beat the Spurs 3 times and you beat the Pistons. When you play a team
Ooh.
like the Suns, they lost to the Suns. They did beat the Nets. They lost to the Kings. They've lost to the Clippers. They lost to the Jazz twice. I mean, when it comes down to it, cool. You beat a bad Spurs team. You beat a bad Pistons team. When you play these good teams again, your shortcomings, your struggles are going to be relevant again.
Yeah.
Guys can't shoot. I don't know how well you can defend, even with a guy like AD. You know, um, and when it comes down to it, and you're going to have teams that actually sit down and guard you, how are LeBron and AD going to play together? How are you going to get a guy like Lonnie Walker who's been playing well for them to keep going? You know, They play the Pacers, and then they play the Trailblazers, the Bucks, the Wizards, the Cavs, the Raptors, the 76ers. So it's like, they're gonna have to prove themselves.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
cool, you guys have won a couple in a row. You beat the Spurs 3 times. Wow.
What's up with this scheduling? You
It's
kidding?
bad. Yeah, it's bad.
So wait, so are you saying are they fake or for real?
They're fake, 100% fake.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, let's pump the brakes on the Lakers. Fake. But we'll move on here, Fred. We talked about all the teams. We talked about fake or for real. What is one team in your mind that needs to make a change?
I think it's going to be Dallas. I think it's your Dallas Mavericks, man. I
We're
think
in
they
agreement.
we have to find somebody. Somebody has to come help Luka. Spencer Dinwiddie and Christian would have been great. Where else is it going to come from?
As of today, as of recording,
Reggie Bullock?
they are signing Kemba Walker.
I didn't see that. I don't. Okay, an aging veteran point guard. Cool.
Yeah. What is this team's biggest problem? Is what do you think this team's biggest issue is right now?
Interior presence,
Defense. Yeah, I think overall just defense.
rim protection. Yeah.
Wow, Kemba Walker. What's Kemba Walker gonna do?
Not guard. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I mean,
He's a 6-foot scoring guard.
I mean,
is probably way past his prime.
Man,
this is a scrambling move, in my opinion. This is a panic button.
Yeah,
we have to go get something, and I don't see why it was him.
I think a lot of casual fans I see on Twitter are like, "You need to start Christian Wood." Okay, and then still their defense. Christian Wood's not a defender. The defense is still going to be bad. And then you got to figure out a way to get Christian Wood, Spencer Dinwiddie, and Luka trying to get going all at the same time. Whereas if you bring Christian Wood off the bench, you can plug him in with Luka, you can plug him in with Spencer Dinwiddie, and you can play them at crunch time if you need to. But other than that, he can try to figure things out, when he comes into the game. Yeah. This team is just not like Maxi Kleber struggling. Reggie Bullock can't hit the broadside of a barn. Tim Hardaway Jr. couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. Dorian Finney-Smith has come and go. What I said at the beginning of the year, if I was this team, the only people I'm keeping on this roster that are untouchable are Luka and Dorian Finney-Smith.
Bro, it's like they play such like a 2K offense. It's like give your point guard the ball, everybody go stand and look pretty behind the 3-point line and go.
It's hard to play with Luka.
It has to be, dude.
I think some blame does fall on Luka at some point because, what are we doing?
He's a stud, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like he's not. I mean, he passes the ball, but most of the time it's put your head down, try to get fouled, in my opinion. For what Mavs I've watched. Every game I've watched, it's the same thing every time. I mean, does he beat everyone off the dribble? Yes.
No. Yeah. Well, no, I don't think. He doesn't even beat everybody off the dribble.
He uses his broad shoulders and
he just raises up above everyone and finishes. But
so maybe people, I don't know, dude. Like,
Fred, they're 11th right now. They're 11th. They're 9-10. They've
That's
lost.
Disrespectful.
They're 3-7 over their last 10. Teams below them, the Lakers. I wouldn't be surprised if the Lakers start to. I'm not saying the Thunder. I don't think the Thunder really will.
No.
The Timberwolves are right above them. I could see the Timberwolves either falling or really, starting to move up. The Warriors are going to move up. The Jazz, I could see the Jazz staying where they're at. I could see the Trailblazers staying where they're at. Like, there's no guarantees of anyone that's above them. I think the only teams right now that I'm confident in saying there's a chance of the Mavs move ahead are the Timberwolves and the Jazz.
Yeah.
And even still, you're in the play-in game.
Yeah.
Luka Doncic.
That should not be their goal. Their goal should be a top 5 seed.
Their goal should be a championship. They have when you have
a championship roster?
No, it's not. But that's the thing. It's they made the deep run last year, and you have a guy like Luka who could get you there again, and nobody's playing well beside him.
Christian Wood, maybe off the bench.
I would love to get Troy's intake because Troy a couple weeks ago, I think it was like 1 week after we did like a 1 week takeaway after the first week, and he said the Mavs are going to win the West. Whoo, that's just not sitting well right now. And this is what I said from the beginning.
That is a hot take.
What I said from the beginning, like, cool, Spencer Dinwiddie. At some point, he's just going to dribble, step back 3. Christian Wood, okay, cool. He's a guy that can't defend and is going to try to get his shots, and that's it. Tim Hardaway Jr. is going to struggle. Maxi Kleber is going to struggle. Like, all these guys are struggling,
Yeah.
It's I could go on,
Exactly.
but I'm gonna cut it off. I'm gonna quit. Is there anything you want to add to that?
No, I think they got to do something quicker. It's gonna get ugly real fast.
Well, Fred, your
Yeah,
passion, these
gotta love it.
rookies, we're gonna hand it over to you for the rookie report.
Yeah, man. Not a whole lot going on from the last time we've talked. One rookie that I want to highlight, Jabari Smith, I think is starting to pick it up.
Yeah,
He's played well in his last few. Keegan Murray's definitely taken a step back. Just his average has definitely gone down. But maybe they don't need him, to score that much. And I think he fits a role well. AJ Griffin's played really well for the Hawks. Just another 3-and-D guy that I love coming out of Duke.
he's a guy that we haven't mentioned up to this point, and then
No,
out of
yeah,
nowhere, just starts playing really, really solid for this team.
yeah. Benedict Mathurin still setting the world on fire, dude. I mean, who would have called? Dude shooting 42% from deep, averaging 19 a game, still just 28 minutes a game, coming off the bench. Paulo, he had his injury. He's shooting 45% from the field, 26 from deep, averaging 23 a game though. So you're seeing what Paulo is. My guy. So in the rookie rankings right now, in the rookie ladder, they have Mathurin, Banchero, and Tari Eason. Tari Eason, man, dude's picked it up. He's only averaging 18 a game, but God bless it, son. That dude can play.
Yeah,
Hey, dude can play 8.5 game, 5 rebounds, 1.5 steal. He is what he is. That's my guy.
This class is full of a bunch of like that. Mathurin and Bonchero are probably the only two that, like, name wise, in a couple years will really stand out. Maybe Chet when we see Chet. But like Tari Eason, AJ Griffin, like all these guys that like are
Role
gonna
players.
carve a path in the league and gonna be in this league for a while because
Yeah,
they do the dirty work, because they come in and they're, their firepower. Tari Eason looks solid.
yeah.
Like I said, AJ Griffin, the Hawks needed that off the bench, and he comes out of nowhere, and he's just been a valuable guy off the bench and reliable.
Yeah.
You know,
Like those guys aren't going to make a lot of mistakes.
yeah.
They know
You
their
got a
role.
guy like Walker Kessler is solid in
Oh
Utah.
yeah, dude. He's averaging 5 points, 5 rebounds, about almost 2 blocks. Like he's doing his thing.
Like
He
Shade
knows what he is.
Sharp, I've said this from the beginning. It's going to be difficult for him to figure things out, especially because that team is very guard heavy.
Yeah,
But even dude, in 3-5 years, I could see Shaden Sharp being the best guy out of this class.
he's built for it for sure.
He has all the tools. I did this
Easily.
class. This class, I didn't know how to feel. I wasn't very high on coming out, but they're solid. It's
Solid
tough.
class, dude.
It's
Hey,
tough.
Jaden Ivey, 19 games played, 42 from the field,
He's looking
31
even
from
better.
line. Yeah, averaging 16 a game though. He's definitely going to get more run with Cade being out. So I can see him continue to take a step forward. But
Even his
besides those
teammate, like
guys,
Jalen Duren, his teammate.
yeah, Jalen Duren's played well.
Solid.
Yep, 6 points, 7 rebounds, and a block. I expect that block total to go up too because I think he's an elite rim protector. Jalen Williams, Santa Clara, Jalen Williams out of OKC as they drafted 2 Jalen Williams, but he's played well, 10 points a game, 3 rebounds, 3
They
assists.
play him a lot too. Like
Yeah,
they throw him.
he's tough.
They've thrown him into crunch time against in a winnable game against the Nuggets. They were throwing him in there.
Yeah. One of my favorite rookies coming out. I really loved him coming out of Santa Clara. Christian Coloco's played really good minutes for the Raptors, I think. They've had a lot of injuries, especially.
He fits that team really well.
Yeah, in the front court. So he plays well. He catches lobs, does what he does. But besides that, man, like I said, this Andrew Nimhard, another guy I forgot to mention from Indiana. He's been dealing with an injury, but when he's in, man, he plays solid. 7 points, 3 assists. Like just plays solid point guard for them. Backing up Tyrese Halliburton, which is a tall task the way he's been playing. So these rookies, man, still balling, dude. We have some couple. Keegan Murray's probably the one surprise. Well, I don't know. They're playing so well. It's hard.
I
to
think
really
that's the only thing is they're playing so well that you're okay with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they are 18. They're like De'Aaron Fox is a veteran up to now.
Yeah.
Like Domantas Sabonis is a vet. Harrison Barnes a vet. Kevin Huerter, he's still kind of young.
Balling.
But like all these guys are playing really well. So it's like it's going to be hard for a young rookie to carve his path with a team playing that well.
They also don't need him to be that.
Right. Agreed.
Like the Magic need Paulo to be 23 a game.
Yeah.
Kings need Keegan 13, 14. Shoot consistent, rebound, play defense. you'll be just fine. So I think it's. I mean, if we're looking at rookie of the year, I think it's a two horse race in Benedict and Paula at this point, unless some drastic change. Jay Ivey throw in there too, but we know it's a points award.
I
It is
think
what
it's
it
going to
is.
ultimately come down to Paulo and Benedict for the rookie of the year. But I think when it comes to like all rookie teams, first team and second team, this is as the year goes on, it's going to get very interesting to who
Yeah.
makes the cut for first and who makes the cut for second. And maybe we'll dig into that here soon.
Yeah.
Give our early predictions for all rookie first team and second. But
yeah, it's cool. Again, love the rookies. Love them in high school. Love them in college. Now watch them in the pros makes me feel oldish, I guess, because I remember what Kentucky to grab all of these guys pretty much, especially Paulo. But yeah, man, I'm excited to see how the rookie ladder continues to progress, man, because it hasn't really changed much, but some rookies had off-season injuries, so they're starting to play more. Teams are getting more comfortable with them.
I'll ask you quickly before we get out of here. Do you think we could see Chet back this season?
Was he had a foot fracture?
Something like that.
So is it a 2-3 month?
I heard he was
I
out
don't
for
know
the
if
whole
I don't
year.
know if they'll force it back. I don't think they need him. So if it's but I mean if you also got to look at the other perspective. If it's late in the year, why not? I
Well,
guess.
so if you would have asked me a couple weeks ago when the Thunder were rolling, I'd have been like, come February, why not bring him back? You know, if you guys are still
Yeah.
like in that like 10 to 7 range where you could make that play in. So I do think if they can find a way to stay relevant and stay in the play in race, I don't think it would be a shock to see him back come like around mid to late February.
I mean, they have it listed as out for season.
But then you got to
But that
think,
could
dude, they were thinking
change.
to be terrible. Like they thought they were going to be terrible.
See, that's where I'm. If they're terrible, I mean, might as well get them some run. No pressure. Just kind of go out there, find your footing.
Yeah, but at that point,
No
it's
pun
just
intended.
it's just a waste. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he could get hurt again. But if
Yeah.
you are making that run, because I think a play-in is important for that organization.
Yeah. I mean, if they're making that play-in run, which is no, small task. I mean, but now with the current layout, I mean, a team like the Thunder could use that extra push, and I think Chet gives you that for sure.
Yeah,
Even just bring him
even
off the
just,
bench
just
to
bring him
fun.
off the bench for like 16 minutes a game. I
Yeah,
think that's fun.
I would if he's healthy. I wouldn't. You don't want to mess with a foot because I mean that's a easy ligament to continue to or bone and ligament. The whole foot is easy to re-injure. Just ask Kevin Durant. So I definitely wouldn't rush it, wouldn't push it. But I mean, if there's a possibility and he's fully cleared and they have a shot, why not?
Yeah, but my heart's clear. But about you?
Hey man, super excited. Love the NBA.
A lot of stuff coming your way.
Yeah, man.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe, tell some friends. We got some fun videos coming your way, so stay tuned. We will see you all later. Have a good night.